Network Entertainment.
Instead of saying, I'm so bad at public speaking. That was a narrative that I told myself because every time I would go on stage, if I know that I'm going to be public speaking, I would like physiological manifestations of stress. I would throw up 4 times
Okay.
the night before. The way that I reframed it, and when I learned about this, about, linguistic transformation, parang sinabi ko sa sarili ko, okay, I'm not bad at public speaking or I'm not scared of public speaking. I want to serve in the clearest possible way.
Wow. That's a good reframe.
And it's because I want to do well that I get stressed if I don't.
right.
So it's the same thought process. It's just that you reframed it. I'm getting imposter syndrome. I have imposter syndrome. That's why I'm stuck. Diba? That's the narrative.
Right.
So how do you reframe that? Because I want my expertise to serve this person.
Hi, this is Mirza Sison. Welcome to You Can Do This, a podcast that'll help you achieve your dreams and goals one episode at a time. What are you waiting for? Let's go! Why is it so hard to stop overthinking, catastrophizing, or self-sabotaging? We often say, ang tigas kasi ng ulo ko when we keep repeating mistakes and we get in our own way. So it can feel like our brain is our own worst enemy. But when you understand how your brain works and how to rewire it in a way that helps you, your brain can be your most powerful ally. And that's the mission of today's guest, to help people celebrate, embrace, and leverage what she calls the most powerful tool in their arsenal, their brains. You might know her as a TikTok edu creator. She has over 228,000 followers and was named one of the best of TikTok in 2023. She's a globally certified professional neuroplastician, only one of 30 plus in the world, a creative entrepreneur and communication strategist with over 10 years of experience in human-centered, brain-based marketing and communication. The founder of Brave Creatives and Brave Creators Lab, she has helped generate over $500 million in results for clients from micro entrepreneurs to global brands. Please welcome Kia Abrera.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, Mirza.
Hi.
It's nice to be here.
Yes. So we'll jump right into it. What exactly is a brain hack?
Okay. A brain hack is kind of like, again, you want to think of your brain as a forest or a garden where you have some specific paths.
Okay.
Diba? Na nasanay ka dun sa paths na yun eh.
Right.
So then it created a natural pathway. So from a cellular level, meron na siyang parang synapses.
Right,
That's what we call it, right? So a brain hack basically is taking like one small shift. Kunyari, nandito yung pathway mo palagi. It's just one small detour. And then you start building this new pathway.
Okay.
So that's what I want to call a brain. It's a brain hack. It's something that reduces the cognitive load of change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So less, parang you don't make your brain work so hard. Ganun ba yun?
Yeah, kasi nga in my book, I have a book called Brain and Simple.
Oh, all right.
But it's how to use brain and behavior principles for effortless marketing and influence.
Oh.
So, in that book, I was talking about the lazy brain principle.
Right.
So, tanggapin na natin lahat na our brains are lazy.
Okay.
Right? Our brains are lazy kasi its primary goal, its primary function is to save energy.
So hindi tayo yung tamad, yung brain.
Yung brain natin yung tamad. Ano talaga siya? It's neurologically sound.
Okay.
Na ang brains natin, it makes up 2% of our mass, but it takes up 20% of our entire energy.
Oh.
It's responsible for so many things in our body, in our day-to-day lives, diba? So that that small thing inside of your skull is responsible for so many things that we're doing in our day-to-day, right? So ang primary function niya talaga is to save energy. And it takes a lot of energy to affect change in our lives.
Right. Right.
Kaya nga ang hirap alam natin na maganda mag-exercise. Pero kung hindi tayo lumaki sa isang environment na
Right.
nag-exercise, nag-gym, ang hirap nun. Alam
Right.
natin na maganda siya for us, but
Yeah.
mahirap siyang i-build as a habit. Diba? Pag alam natin na, na if we've been wired to be confrontational
Right.
all of our lives, it's so hard for us to listen.
Right.
Diba? Na parang, ikaw yung laging nagko-command sa room eh. Ikaw yung laging I always have to have the last say.
Right.
It's built into our neural wiring. Kung dun tayo nasanay, it's gonna take more than just willpower
Right.
to tell ourselves na, hey, I need to listen. I
Right.
need to humble down and listen naman. Even if we know that it's gonna be good for us.
Right. Right.
Because change literally has a lot of cognitive load.
Right.
Kaya
Okay.
mahirap.
Now explain neuroplasticity.
Okay. Neuroplasticity, you kind of want to imagine your brain as more of a Play-Doh rather than cement.
Oh, okay.
Diba? So,
Moldable.
a lot of, kasi we were led to believe before na after childhood, our brain is basically permanent. Kaya nga parang, this is the way I am talaga eh. Di ba? Lagi natin, ganun yung laging, conversation natin
Right.
with ourselves. It's the same also na, when people deal with trauma, di ba? That becomes super hardwired into their brain. When people have brain injuries, ganyan. So, the study of neuroplasticity is basically, we have discovered that the brain is plastic.
Okay.
Kaya siya neuroplasticity. So, this plasticity means na you can actually, or the brain has the power to rewire itself throughout our lives.
So, pwede pa.
Yeah, with the experiences that we have, the things that we retrain ourselves to do. And the good news also about plasticity is that the habits that we want to change, yung mga bagay na hindi na natin gusto sa buhay natin, pwede rin siyang mawala.
Okay.
Or with parang ganun din 'di ba yung parang metaphor natin sa forest na parang kung gumamit ka na ng bagong pathway at paulit-ulit mo na siyang ginagamit, yun na yung magiging habit mo. It's going to be deeply ingrained in your brain.
Right.
Your default, yung DMN, the default mode network of our brain, nagiging iba din siya.
Okay.
Yung automatic responses natin, nagiging iba siya. So pag hindi na natin ginagamit yung bagay na hindi na makakabuti sa atin. Okay? 'Di ba? Nako-cover na siya ulit ng grass, 'di ba?
Right.
Nawawala na siya.
Okay.
So, I think, in the human experience, hindi naman siya completely mawawala. It's just that hindi na natin siya default na ginagamit.
Okay.
And we can retrain our brain to do that.
Right. So, hindi matigas ang ulo. Plastic po siya.
Hindi matigas. Plastic po ang ating ulo.
So, now you have your top 5 brain hacks, which will help us improve our lives.
Okay. I hope I will remember all of it kasi I kind of created a framework for my top 5 brain hacks.
May
So I called it
acronym.
I called it the 5 R's.
Okay.
Diba? So, kanina 3H, ngayon 5 R's. Okay. So the first is redirect.
Okay.
So redirect meaning yung pagtanong natin sa sarili natin na why is this happening?
Right.
Why? Because that's our tendency, especially if you're an overthinker. Ang tendency natin is bakit ko gagawin yun? Bakit nangyayari sa akin to? Bakit niya ginawa sa akin to? Diba? So parang even accountability,
Bakit
kina-question
ako?
natin why. So redirecting means you stop asking why, you start asking how.
Okay.
So it shifts the neural pathways in our brain from the self-pity part
Okay.
to actually looking at
Now
action-based
what?
insights.
Ganun.
Yeah. So parang action-based insights. So it's gonna light up a different part of our brain that says, okay, how can I get out of this? How can I move forward from this? Diba? So that's gonna lead me to number 2, which is reduce.
Okay.
Reduce is, kanina, I was talking earlier about the next doable step.
Right.
Reduce meaning you want to reduce the cost of change.
Okay.
So it's not, to tomorrow morning, I will start going to the gym 2 hours a day. That's a lot of cognitive load.
Oh, is
Diba?
it?
That's a lot of
Okay.
cognitive load for us to start building a habit abruptly. Diba? So what is the next doable step for me? For example, sa akin, when my very public failure happened in 2023, I mean, I was deep for months. For months talaga. I was deep into my into my shame and my doubts for months. So then instead of asking, I started to ask why, and then I started to ask how. So, and then I started to look at, with my husband, we started to look at, okay, what is in our immediate vicinity? What is, you know, the next step in the staircase? I'm not looking at the second floor, I'm just
Right,
looking at
right.
the next step. So, what is our next doable step? What do we have? What can we create? And what can we market? So I started making like a list of the things that I don't want to do because of this failure. So I started curating a program out of that in order to transfer that knowledge and wisdom to other creative entrepreneurs. These are things that you don't want to do. Now, these are things that you should do. So I created an entire program that was the birthplace of the Business Launchpad, which is one of my programs. It's like a 12-week program for creative entrepreneurs. So I taught them the business side of creativity, but it all came from, hey, this is what happened to me.
Okay.
Okay. So
Right.
parang that was my next doable step. I looked at what was available within me. Kasi at that time, of course, negative 4 million kami. So, okay, what can we do that doesn't require a lot of cash? Zero to something that we can do ourselves. And then let's do it. Let's market it. Let's see it how it's gonna go.
Right.
And then so that's reduce the cognitive load of change by looking at your next doable step. Okay. The third is reset. I call it the curiosity reset. So instead of when fear comes up, for example, or when doubt comes in, you don't you don't try to respond to it with hiding or
Okay.
parang making fear and shame part of your identity. We don't want that to happen. So the curiosity reset is, instead of why is this happening to me, it's what is this teaching me?
Right.
What is this? I mean, why am I so scared of this? And you don't want to look at it from a place of judgment. You want to look at it from a place of observation, of curiosity, na parang, bakit ako na-offend nito? Bakit kaya ako
Okay.
na-offend nito? What is in my experience that made this so, parang, ba't ako nanggigil dito? Parang ganun. Parang, bakit gusto ko manakit ng tao? Mga ganun tayo na
So
thoughts
you remove the blame from the other person.
Yeah, you remove judgment.
Okay.
You remove judgment sa sarili. You remove judgment for yourself. You remove judgment for other people. You remove blame. You parang you get yourself out of the victim mindset
Okay.
and just approach it from curiosity and growth.
Right.
So, why is this happening? Why am I responding this way? Why do I feel this way when I see this?
Right. So instead of why is this happening to me, why is this happening lang?
Yeah. Why is
Right.
this happening?
Right.
And if you're going to get yourself involved, what is this trying to teach me?
Okay.
What did I do before na I'm not gonna do again?
Okay.
Right? So sa akin, when I went through that very public failure, okay, what are the type of people that I want to work with next time?
Oh, okay.
I've become more vigilant
Right.
in working with people, in because now I know that I have ADHD, I need someone to shadow me.
Okay.
I need someone to tell me, hey, you know what, this is not a very smart decision, you know. Because as ADHD people, we tend to be impulsive.
Yeah, yeah.
Also. So I need to be strategic with the things that I do. So how do I do that? Right? So yun yung reset. That's the third R. The fourth R is reframe.
Okay.
So how do you reframe a story that you tell yourself? So I mentioned earlier si Werner Erhard, yung all transformation is linguistic. You change your language, you change your life eventually. So there are stories or narratives that we tell ourselves na it can mean the same thing, but if you say it differently, nagiging iba din yung pananaw mo sa sarili mo. So for example, instead of saying, I'm so bad at public speaking. That was a
Which
narrative that I
everybody
told.
says.
Yes.
Yeah.
that was a narrative
Yeah.
that I told myself because every time I would go on stage, if I know that I'm going to be public speaking, I would like physiological
Right.
manifestations of stress.
Okay.
Like I would throw up. Sorry, I would throw up 4 times
Okay.
the night before. So I knew na public speaking is just
Pero pag singing, hindi.
pag singing hindi.
Dapat kantayin mo na lang yung speech.
Yes. Kakanta na lang ako. Yeah.
Okay. So what did you reframe?
So the way that I reframed it and when I learned about this, about, linguistic transformation, parang sinabi ko sa sarili ko, okay, I'm not bad at public speaking or I'm not scared of public speaking. I want to serve in the clearest possible way.
Wow. That's a good reframe.
And it's because I want to do well that I get stressed if I don't.
Right.
So it's the same thought process. It's just that you reframed it.
Right.
The reason kung bakit ako for example, a very popular notion, imposter syndrome.
Right.
Right? Imposter syndrome. I'm getting imposter syndrome. I have imposter syndrome. That's why I'm stuck. Diba? That's the narrative.
Right.
So how do you reframe that? Because I want my expertise to serve this person. I want to make sure na I'm serving this person well. So I know that I have to do well.
Right.
I do feel like I do feel like an imposter, but that's because I want this to go really well.
Okay.
So there's that reframing. It's the same thing.
Right.
It means the same thing. You're just saying it differently, and that rewires completely.
So if you tell yourself, I just want this to go really well, therefore,
I do want this to go really well, therefore I'm now going to act
okay.
in accordance
Right.
with this thought process.
Right.
Kasi pag sinabi mo na kaagad na, I have imposter syndrome pag negative na kaagad, the tendency of the body to respond is
Right.
to
Shut
parang
down.
to shut down. And yung sa from a brain perspective kasi, iba yung nagagawa pag nag-activate, for example, yung nag-hyperdrive yung amygdala. For example, the amygdala, or pag nagpo-produce na siya ng stress hormones. Nagpo-produce na siya ng cortisol, right? So nagpo-produce na tayo ng cortisol, ang attention ng brain natin is to fight that is to
Right.
respond, to regulate the stress. Therefore, yung prefrontal cortex natin, nagsha-shutdown siya.
Right.
Hindi tayo nakakapag-think creatively, hindi tayo nakakapag-think logically. So, ang nangyayari is, mas nagkakaroon ng attention yung brain sa pag-regulate ng stress rather than pag-create ng solution.
Right.
Mga Immortal, listen to the Underpaid Podcast with me, Stanley Chi, wherein we talk about work-related topics in a light manner na parang nagchichismisan lang tayo or nagkukwentuhan. Listen for free on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or kung saan ka man nakikinig ng podcast. Kita-kits!
Anong hormone yung responsible sa pag-create?
Hormone.
Or hindi? Then na-curious lang ako. Parang ayaw natin gumawa ng cortisol. So dapat, if we reframe it to, okay, how can I now do my best?
Actually, it's activating the prefrontal cortex.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
kasi
right.
yun yung yun yung in charge also
Right,
of,
right.
logical thinking and creative thinking, so all of that.
So you put that in charge.
Yeah, you put that in charge. But in order for you to put that in charge, si amygdala kailangan mag-relax.
Okay.
So, if you start to reframe things in a different way, in a more positive manner,
Right.
mas magre-respond siya. Okay, so now that I know na I'm operating from a sense of wanting to serve these people or wanting to just share my thoughts. Okay, prefrontal cortex, do your thing.
Galing. Gawa ka ng cartoons. Parang
The brain.
inside out.
Yeah. So that's
Okay.
that's
It's
also
amazing.
where that's also where anxiety comes from
Right,
kasi
right.
nag-overproduce nga tayo ng cortisol.
Right,
Yung threat detection system ng brains natin, yun yung nag-activate.
right. So it's really knowing how to orchestrate all these
Yeah.
parts.
Yes, and letting it work.
Right.
Kasi naman yung cortisol, yung stress hormones natin, it's there also to serve a purpose. Kasi your brain's job is not to make you happy. Your brain's job is to protect you.
Okay.
So yun yung primary niya na gagawin. So mag-ooperate siya depending on the threats that it perceives also.
Right.
And it's also going to operate based on the environment that you put it in.
Wow. Right.
So the fifth is retain. It means, for me, na you build consistency over intensity.
Okay.
Consistency, ibig sabihin, let's say you start stacking these small habits. So for example, I always go back to the practice of reading or writing.
Right.
Di ba? If you want to start organizing your thoughts, our tendency is, I'm going to read a lot about organizing my thoughts, about, all of these systems. I'm going to read Atomic Habits again, yung mga
Yes.
ganon. So parang,
Ako yan.
ang dami nating ginagawang stress or parang cognitive load nga sa brain natin na hindi natin na-realize na, for example, committing to 5 minutes of reading or 5 minutes of writing, that's going to strengthen your neural pathways better than 3 hours over a weekend.
Right.
Diba? Kasi it's the consistency that builds it eh.
Right.
Diba? Again, we want to try to look at it as this forest na eto, paulit-ulit mo kasi siyang dinadaanan. Paulit-ulit mo siyang dinadaanan. And it gets deeper and deeper and it gets ingrained in our brain. And then, it builds the pathway.
Right.
It doesn't only build the pathway, but then after 5 minutes, kasi kunyari, the next commitment that you have is, okay, 10 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes. And then suddenly, parang going back to like 2-4 weeks of consistently trying to build this habit, it becomes automatic. It starts to become automatic.
So little baby detours.
Yes.
And not leaps.
Yes.
Right,
It's small jumps rather than huge leap.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have redirect, reduce, reframe,
Yeah. Reset.
and retain.
Retain.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when we do all these, how soon will we see changes?
Well, normally, it depends, no? Kasi there are some people na, for example, they're trying to come out of a traumatic environment.
Right.
So that takes a little bit longer kasi nga yung trauma talagang deep yan eh.
Right.
So, but on average, around 2 to 4 weeks of just consistent habits, it's not going to be like yung talagang, dramatic change na siya kaagad,
Right.
ganon.
Right.
But it's more of the automatic response is gonna start happening as long as you're doing it talagang every single day consistently. And then the results of that, of course, mga 6 to 8 weeks, ganyan. Sometimes people get results yung parang external results niya, like, better connections, better relationships, ganyan. 6 to 8 weeks of just consistently doing one thing differently or just deciding to do one thing differently, it can start to manifest the changes.
Can you share some real life examples?
Okay, I have this one student. She always overthinks the way that she shows up online.
Yeah. Parang marami.
Maraming ganon.
Gen Z ba siya?
Hindi, actually she's older than me.
Okay.
She's older than me. So, I'm sure she's gonna watch. But so she's gonna know that I'm talking about her. So she signed up in my program, the Business Launchpad, and then she signed up in all of my other programs. So I also have this program. I had this program called the Brave Creators Lab, where I teach talagang content creation. But I teach it differently because it comes from their unique thought processes. So it's not, building a personal brand or all that. So it comes from people's unique thought processes. Siya yung sinabi ko before na gumawa ka ng content
The
for 30
30-day
days
challenge.
straight. Yeah. So she was always overthinking her content because she has a lot of businesses also na parang, what if I want to talk about this, but it doesn't have anything to do with my business, etc., etc. So I told her, what do you want to talk about? What lights you up when you talk about it? And then she finally went into, and I told her, don't tell me what you think I want to hear. I want you to tell me from an honest place, what is it that really you really want to talk about? And then let's go from here. And then she mentioned something about relationships. So when I said, you know what, this business can be, you didn't realize that your business can actually be talked about when you're talking about relationships, or because her business has to do with bridal. So
okay.
parang relationships. I mean,
Right.
come on. I mean, you can
Right,
see the
right.
connection from there.
Right.
Once you just settle on something that you want to talk about first. Diba? Kasi there's also a reason kung bakit yun yung naging businesses mo eh.
Oo nga.
'Di ba? Bakit naging sustainable siya for the longest time? It's
Right.
because it came from this authentic place na hindi mo siya nahugot because you were too busy overthinking about all of these different,
Right,
all of
right,
these other things. There's just so many input kasi online about telling us how we should do business, how we should do marketing, all of that stuff. So, nagkaroon na siya ng decision paralysis. So I said, let's reduce it. Let's reduce the cognitive load. Okay. Relationships. Okay. Assignment mo, post. 30 days. Don't look at the metrics. Don't look at the likes. Don't look at the views. The only success metric that you have is that you posted. That's it. Let's reduce it. Let's simplify it.
So after 30 days, anong nangyari?
30 days, she found her groove. She had I think, after 30 days, actually, yung pinaka ni-report niya sa akin is she started to enjoy it.
Instead of fearing it.
Instead of fearing it. So she started to enjoy it kasi the goal of those 30 days was just for her to build the muscle, to find joy in it again. So she started to find joy in it. She started sharing more and more. And now she has, I think she just hit 5,000 followers. And I think a brand from Europe even reached out to her to do a brand deal. She's had multiple videos gone viral, like over the 600,000 mark.
Wow.
So, sabi ko, you see what happens if you just stick to it na hindi ka nape-pressure ng mga metrics na to, ng SOPs of your brand guidelines or whatever. Parang, in that regard, you're just really showing your authentic experience.
Right.
And that creates connection. And that's what people want. People want connection. Right. They don't want, they don't want perfection.
Right.
They want connection. So, that's when she started doing that. And until now, she's doing it. She's consistently posting. She's consistently sharing her thought process about relationships. And she's doing so much better.
What did she reframe in her thinking?
Actually, yung sinasabi niya palagi sa akin is that what helped her the most was the initial 30 days of challenge. The initial 30 days of challenge because it was just removing the pressure. It was really just removing the pressure. So para sa kanya, yung naging reframe sa kanya is that content creation should not be treated as a have to.
Right.
It should be treated as a want to.
Right.
I want to, and it's not even, I want to create content eh.
Yeah.
It's, I want to share my relationship journey.
Okay.
I think someone else is going to be helped by this.
Right.
These are thoughts na I wish someone had told me when I was starting.
Right.
So that's when she started to reframe it, and then she started getting these messages for her thanking her for sharing her thoughts.
Right.
And then she started answering those messages also.
Okay.
So now it has become another reframe that she had is it started to become a collaboration with her audience.
Okay.
The way that she showed up, it started to become a collaboration with her audience. So now she's serving them even more intimately.
Wow. So instead of making the brain work so hard, you share from the heart. Ganyan ba?
Yeah, parang when we say
Natural.
we're reducing the cognitive load, parang what is a natural pattern to you already? And then let's work with that.
Right.
Hindi natin siya gagawin na, hey, just believe in yourself. Alam mo yun? It's not just that eh. Di ba? Even the title of your podcast, when you say, you can do this.
Right.
Di ba? Parang it's really encouraging
Right.
your brain to work with what it has.
Right.
It's a natural pattern that you already have. It's just that you needed to direct it somewhere. Direct the path. Kaya nga siya tinatawag na pathway. Kailangan may direction siya. Diba? So you want to create or effect change within yourself. What are things that you already have? What are things that you already believe in? And then how do we amplify something from there? Little by little. Doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be like big right away. Kasi the big changes, it all comes from the small ones. So small consistent ones.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. So, in the spirit of you can do this, complete the sentence in relation to the brain. You can do this because.
Oh. Wow. Okay. Actually, I would simplify it as you can do this because you have a powerful brain.
Oh, okay.
Because they do have a powerful brain. Yung sinasabi natin na na tigas ng ulo.
Oo.
'Di ba? Matigas yung ulo ko eh. Ganyan eh.
Oo nga.
Matigas yung I would reframe that.
Okay.
I would reframe that as tigas ng loob.
Okay.
So you turn that from tigas ng ulo to tigas ng loob. Kasi if we want change, we can have it. Pero kailangan ng character. Kailangan natin ng tigas ng loob.
Right.
Right? So when it comes to tigas ng loob, hindi lang siya the courage to do things differently. It's also the courage to deal with the possible consequences. To deal with the possible things that you have to let go of.
Right.
Kasi if you're trying to step into a version 2.0, there's going to be grief in letting go of version 1.0.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's so true.
And that's something that we don't talk about
And that's
often.
where we get stuck.
Yeah. And it's something that we don't talk about often eh. Na there's going to be, ganito ako dati. Even if that version of ourselves no longer work for us.
Right. We
We still
cling.
grieve.
Yeah.
We grieve for it. So it also comes with, the relationships that how do I say this while still being kind?
That no longer served you in your past.
The relationships that benefited from you not having boundaries.
Okay.
Right? So those parang malilet go mo yun eh. Ma-outgrow mo siya.
Right.
So these are all the things that come with change. Even if it's small, even if we know that it's going to do us good, there are things that it's going to be hard for us to let go of. And that also takes tigas ng loob.
Right.
So, i-reframe natin yun from ulo kasi na-establish na natin na ang ulo natin ay plastic. Yeah? Our brains are Play-Dohs. So, we have established na hindi matigas ang ulo natin.
Right.
Pero kailangan matigas ang loob.
Right. Great. Thank you so much. You want to talk about your programs and invite our listeners?
Okay. Actually, the Business Launchpad has now evolved also as human beings do. It has now evolved into the Communication Lab. So the Communication Lab, it's a paid membership community where we teach people brain-based principles. And we apply it in the way that we communicate every day and the way that we can, make our lives better through better communication, our businesses better through better communication. But it's all brain-based, it's neuroscience-based, behavior-based also. It's understanding the way that we think. So we elevate the way that we speak and communicate and write. And
So are these
all of that.
online classes or?
Yes, these are online classes. And if you want something just a little less cognitive load, also I have a book. It's called Brain and Simple.
Right.
Brain and Simple. You can find it in my Facebook or in my Facebook or my Instagram.
Right.
Yeah.
And please invite them to your socials.
Yes, you can follow me on TikTok. That's where I'm most active. I'm also trying to be a little bit more active now on Instagram and Facebook. And I have a newsletter called The Creative Rethink Tank. That's on Substack.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Kia.
you.
All right, bye. Thank you for listening to You Can Do This. If you want to know more about me, visit mirza.com. That's myrza.com. And follow me at Mirza Season on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and LinkedIn. If you like this episode, please don't forget to rate it 5 stars. Hit the follow button on your podcast streaming platforms and hit the notification bell to get alerted every time we release a new episode. Catch you at our next convo, and always remember, you can do this.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.